past. We'll be loose from oppressions at last. How united we ever will stand for the welfare of all in this land. Hail hooray to our island, St. Andrew, Old Providence and Little St. Catherine. Soon your children will gain to each attainment, every merit whichever receive. No more strangers will rule in our home, no injustice to cause us to roam. We have the help of the Almighty above, who shall lead us along in His love. Hail hooray to our island, St. Andrew, Old Providence and Little St. Catherine. Soon your children will gain to each attainment, every merit whichever receive. No more evil on us shall befall. Soon there'll be peace and justice for all. We're together as one in God's might. To gain freedom we'll win every fight. Hail hooray to our island, St. Andrew, Old Providence and Little St. Catherine. Soon your children will gain to each attainment, every merit whichever receive.
Morning. Morning to our people, listeners out there. Good morning, Pastor. Gerardo.
Hey, good morning, good morning.
Yes, sir. We are here again in our weekly streaming program, the Voice of the Raizal Nation, by the Raizal Council, the Raizal Authority, supported by the Raizal Development Center, the Raizal Diaspora. Today is the 7th of August 2026. Yes, I am here transmitting from the island of San Andres, the capital of the archipelago of San Andres, Old Providence, and Catalina. I'm here this morning again with Reverend Dr. Edgardo Martin Mitchell from the Raizal Diaspora in our next emission. Pastor, we are here. Our San Andres look rainy this morning. How that side, how the heaty El Paso is today.
Wow, oh no, El Paso is burning. Yeah, El Paso is really, really hot these days, man. Very, very hot. You
Yeah,
have to feel it to believe it.
can imagine.
But
We
yeah, we
we
want to express also a warm and heartfelt greetings to the Raizal people all over across our beloved island of San Andres, Providence, and Catalina, and to our brothers and sisters throughout the diaspora in Panama, in Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Honduras, United States, all over. Welcome
great,
to another edition of Voice, the voice of the Raizal Nation.
great. Okay, Basia, we here in the archipelago still having a trend of death. Unfortunately, many sick, many of our family grieving.
Yes.
It really shocking. We don't have a good health system in the archipelago that make it very worse. By the way, it's very suspicious that much of the cases them of death is caused by the negligence and result of the corruption of the
Hmm.
system of health, especially at the main hospital. I will ask you if you like to lead us in a word of prayer, and
Sure.
we accompany all the families them. Sometimes I fear to start mention names and leave out names, you know.
Yeah.
So you say it in a general way,
Yes.
understanding we will mention some names, though I know what to feel anyway if we miss any.
Yes. 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 Let us pray. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus and in the power of your Holy Spirit, we come before you this morning just to give you praise and thanks. Praise and thanks for life, for strength, for health. We just want to thank you, Lord, for your many, many blessings upon our islands, upon our people. Um, as Ira mentioned, our island is hurting all over the islands. People mourning the death of their loved ones. Uh, for the last couple of months, there seems to be a spirit of death on our islands, and every day, every week, we are hearing of one or two or three deaths of our loved ones in so many different families all over our islands. And we know that many are hurting, many are mourning, many are sad, many are broken, hearts are broken. And we just want to pray, Lord, this morning that your Holy Spirit visit every home, every family, and pour your healing grace, your healing comfort, your healing touch, that you will strengthen and help families to, despite the situation, that they will keep leaning on you, trusting you, getting strength from you to overcome their pain and their hurting, and give them strength, Lord, to overcome. We know that you're a loving, caring God and that you are not unaware of what's happening. And we just pray, Lord, your intervention and even helping our people, Lord, to draw close to you, those who are already believers, Heavenly Father, to believe what your word tell us in Galatians 2:20 that you live in us and that you are working through us and that we just need to join you and be partners with you in the work that you want to do in us, through us, and in our islands. And for those who don't know you as Lord and Savior, that Lord, that because of that reality and true biblical truth, that they will draw close to you, give their life to Jesus, and allow you to reside in them because you want to save us, not just to take us to heaven, but you want to save us so you can work through us and fulfill your mission and bring the justice and the peace that our people need in San Andres, that your kingdom in heaven will come to earth as well. So again, cover our islands, cover our people, bless this morning, bless this program, bless my brother Jairo, his family, and RDC and the work that is being accomplished on the island. You know all our needs. Father, we pray, God, that you will provide all our needs, resources, human resources, material resources, financial resources.
New municipalities for the island of San Andres, so for the department of the archipelago of San Andres, Providence and Catalina. We made four program already talking about not specifically the municipalities, but talking about democratic governance. We talk about self-determination. We talk about our special condition and so forth. So all those previous program are very necessary to have them in mind as we step in this next uh, consideration around new municipalities for the archipelago. As I give, we put the name new municipalities in the Raizal territory, no? Because when the department archipelago, San Andres, Pride, and San Ketnila, that entire archipelago, that entire department is the Raizal territory. So we're talking about new municipalities in the Raizal territory. I think this is very important. This is a ethnic people we are talking about. We have ourselves as such, and we are talking about creating new municipalities in that ethnic, special ethnic territory and unique ethnic territory in Colombia. So we want to start today with the analysis around this. We will have many guests coming in the following program. Today we will set the scenery, you know,
Mm-hmm.
create the discussion in coming programs. So I is starting here, Pastor, by picking your mouth.
Yeah, yeah.
What is the purpose, you as an
Oh,
attorney, and
wow.
what is the purpose of a municipality in a state like Colombia? This term municipality is handled in many other states in the
Mm-hmm.
world,
Mm-hmm.
countries, other states might be handling different terms, but in the bottom, try starting from the spirit, from the what is the purpose of a municipality in a state like Colombia, and why? Second question: why the Constitution of Colombia, last one from 1991, why had to mention in a specific article? You have articles there that talk about in general municipalities. What is a municipality? What is a department in general in Colombia? Why a special article talking about a municipality in Colombia like the one like the announcing that is the door is open, and leaving the door open, and the call to create further on from the creation of the Constitution of 1991 new municipalities in the archipelago of San Andres Pearl Secretariat, and referring specifically to the Raizal. It's a Raizal community, I think. We will put that on the screen right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I started there and I give you the word there. I know you again you
Yeah.
want
Well,
to, yeah.
yeah. It's so many years now, but anyway, so in Colombia, as you were mentioning, a municipality or municipio um, is like the fundamental territorial and political administrative unit of local government. You know, the Colombian Constitution defines it as the basic entity through which government serves communities and manage local affairs. So, for example, a municipality, and we have the example of Providence, no? They have a defined territory, you know. They have a permanent population, an elected mayor or alcalde, like we have in Providence. An elected municipal council, the Consejo Municipal, and administrative. Well, and this is one of the important thing, uh, that the municipalities, the municipios, they have administrative autonomy to manage local matters within the framework, obviously, of the Constitution and national laws. And Article 311 in our Constitution, the Colombian Constitution, is the one that more or less defines and dictates what municipalities are responsible to do. And among some of them, we could mention, for example, providing local public services, planning and regulating land use, promoting economic and social development, building infrastructure, um, protecting local cultural and environmental heritage, improving the quality of life of residents. And so a municipality is the level of government closer to the people. I think that's important for the people to know more than a gobernación. So it is the institution, Brother Jairo, that is responsible for managing everyday community issues such as roads and water system and local planning and community programs and many aspects of education and health and all of these things. And so that's more or less according to the Colombian Constitution. But for most municipalities in Colombia, this structure is sufficient. This structure is sufficient. The structure that you find in the Constitution and everything that they do is sufficient. However, San Andres, Providence, and our archipelago, we have to think that it is not an ordinary territory. You know what I mean? Because Article 310 of the Constitution, obviously, as we everybody know, recognizes the archipelago's special conditions, and that's why that article allow Congress to create a differentiated legal regime for us to protect our culture and language, our territory, ancestral territory, and our environmental interests, uh, demographic and immigration concerns, control because of the overpopulation. So that is why many Raizal people, from Julio Gallardo time and even before, argue that simply creating ordinary municipalities, I mean Juvencio, uh, like those on the mainland is not enough. So that is the important thing to start out with clarifying. Instead, as we mentioned last week, you mentioned about the need for ethnic municipalities or racial territorial municipalities with powers specifically designed to protect the racial identity or ancestral lands or cultural heritage, language, and self-governance. So to conclude this first part, I would say, Brother Jairo, that in other words, with all that we have said, a regular Colombian municipality is primarily an administrative government. We mentioned that the last time. A racial ethnic municipality would be both an administrative government and an instrument for the protection and development of the racial nation within the Colombian constitutional framework, but also within the international laws framework, um, the international judicial human rights frameworks that is special for indigenous, and within the framework of Convention 169. So that distinction is at the center, I would say, at the heart of a debate about how Article 310 should be implemented in our islands, and why many people believe the future lies not in decentralization as such, but in a model for local government that reflects the unique history and identity of our people. So I think it's just good to make that clarification.
You mentioned the last part. Please explain a little better for us. You mentioned, I think you say it's not a matter of decentralization. I'm mistaken. But
Yes, exactly. Because plenty. You remember when we were in Tendencia. I know the numbers of intendant that we have, but they used to send the governor, the intendant, I think was Ken Francis or who to call it intendentes de paracaídas. The president in term would appoint the intendant who he was friend with from right Bogota. There were some that they knew from the island, but the majority would come from Bogota. And so people were coming from Bogota, and the administration of the island as intendencia used to happen from Bogota. We couldn't even elect our own um, intendant. And so the idea, oh, let's create one different system so that we can govern ourselves from San Andres and not from Bogota. So the purpose of the municipality is not just to solve that problem of centralization and bring it more, I mean, to decentralize it, but it goes beyond decentralization. It is for us as a people, we need a model of local government that reflects the uniqueness of our history and of our identity, of our environment, of our ancestrality as Raizal people. So it's not just for politics or to decentralize and that we can elect our own people, because that no solve the problem alone by itself.
Very good, very good. In other words, it is both thing, but more than decentralization.
Mm-hmm.
And decentralization usually is extending the power, no, or sharing the power. Is
Mm-hmm.
switching from a centralized and a unitary state that
Mm-hmm.
concentrate all the power over a broad territory or a country, when it usually no part of the world it makes sense because we are so diversified people, you know, that
Exactly.
come together and set up and agree to stick together as a state. So
Mm-hmm.
it's seek to decentralize, but additionally from the normal decentralization, in our case of the Raizal people, it go further because they somehow, if we don't explicitly, clearly recognize us as a people there in the terms, you know,
Yes.
it is telling indirectly that yes, there is a people that need to be preserved and to be and that needed to guarantee a term that they use, which is the I want to move to the Article 3 then, a term that they use when they call to create that special municipality in Colombia is the is a see there to guarantee the institutional expression. That's
Mm-hmm.
a term that we will go profound in on during the various program coming up, because this is the purpose that we are starting this program with, asking what is the
Mm-hmm.
purpose of having new municipalities in or on the Raizal territory. An article in the Constitution of Colombia, the Article 310, the only one that talk about, I don't know if they have any more, forgive me if I'm making mistake, but I don't think they have any more that
Mm-mm.
mention for a specific municipality,
Mm-mm.
for a people. We don't
Yes.
show on the screen already. Those articles that you was mentioning was showing in the Constitution of Colombia. Those that talk about the municipal regime in Colombia, that is general, no? Pass them to be department. Article 310 starting saying that, you know. Um, and it said that it will be ruled additionally to what is established in the Constitution and the laws to come up. Additionally, it will be ruled by special regimes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It said the Department Archipelago of San Andres, Providence, and Ketlina se regirá normas especiales, in certain matter like you say, administratively, immigration, fiscal, external commerce, and so forth. And it
Mm-hmm.
about in the next paragraph about special rules also on this created by the Congress to limit is the only place in Colombia to limit that right that people have to circulate freely, because it's special condition that the archipelago have. Here we don't mention it again. You talk about it. Is referring to the problem of our population. Mediante ley aprobada por la mayoría de los miembros de cada cámara, se podrá limitar el ejercicio de los derechos de circulación y residencia, establecer controles de densidad de la población, regular el uso del suelo y someter a condiciones especiales la enajenación de bienes inmuebles con el fin de proteger la identidad cultural de las comunidades nativas, referring to the Raizal, that is already clear when they say comunidades nativas, referring to the Raizal, to protect the cultural identity of the Raizal people, y preservar el ambiente y los recursos naturales del archipiélago. That's what that paragraph talk about. And then the following paragraph is the one that we treat now in the program here. Mediante la creación de los municipios a que hubiera lugar. A que hubiera lugar. That's part of the discussion right now today when they're talking about this. A los municipios a que hubiera lugar. La Asamblea Departamental garantizará la expresión institucional de las comunidades raizales de San Andrés. That's the point we're on here. So, Pastor, they had under from 2022 to 2024, they create provisionally or temporarily for a short 2 year what they call the Misión de Descentralización. Yeah, the decentralization mission in Colombia was to analyze the situation in general of Colombia, because you understand that the country seeking to continue the decentralization, because it's not that it's not so effective as yet. You have a local level of autonomy of the department and municipalities, but still it's questionable if they are meeting the purpose, as you mentioned, to suffice have a good governance, to suffice public service and other necessity of each local population. So on that mission de decentralization mission 2022-2024, they made a profound analysis of the country,
Yeah.
and of the how the municipalities them there was how good they was doing, what is needed, what the people are saying, what they are saying about the at the departmental level, how good the gobernación, the department they are doing, and the next case is the ETI, the entidades territoriales indígenas. That's our next political division in Colombia, right? Administrative political division in Colombia. Those that correspond to the indigenous people that have a role, just like a department, no, but ruled by them, exclusively by them. And few was mentioned in that decentralization mission about the blacks communities, Raizales and Palenqueros, because they didn't have them in the scope of, how you all call it, a subject of right toward this. They look on this group of people, including us, like those as said in a transition, I would say, or that have the way of organizing in case of the blacks, the consejos
Yeah.
comunitarios, not to the level. The black community are pushing to come to the same level and right of the indigenous people to have like the ETI, entidades territoriales indígenas, that they consider the consejos comunitarios that exist right now by la SMT to have that same level of power. Then what the Raizales them will have to have a same level of power. It will be the same article that has already, the same municipality, sorry, that has already mandated in the Constitution of 1991, lacking to develop. And it gave our interpretation, many interpretation. And I believe, Pastor, if we agree, we might having, as you all in law, some local spots of vacuum, you call it, vacíos, right? because
Uh-huh.
no category exists in Colombia that I know for ethnic municipalities, except the ones for the eti for the Indian, that's that municipality, that eti. So, I think we might book up ourselves here. I don't know, and that will be the discussion how we come out of that situation. Why had been such a delay precisely to create these municipalities? You know.
Yeah. Um, I think important for mention that I think is article so under Colombian law, the authority to create municipalities come from the constitution. Not shoot, and I think it's Article 300.
300.
It says that the departmental assemblies, have the power to, create and suppress municipalities. So this means that municipalities obviously are not created directly by Congress. In ordinary circumstances, the departmental assembly creates them, but only after the legal requirement have been satisfied. And just to show the difference, because traditional legal requirements, historically, the requirements to create a municipality was one law from 1986, law decree 1333. Um, I discuss it extensively in my thesis, and the requirements was, for example, population requirement. So historically, the threshold hierarchy create one municipality. The area, the geographical area had to have like 20,000 inhabitants for them to be able to create a municipality. And so the municipalities from which territory was segregated had to retain sufficient population after the division. So like if we follow the law, if we follow Article 300, for example, and let's say we want to create the municipality of San Luis and Hill, when you divide it off from Naten and split it up, you would need 20,000 people San Luis and 20,000 people on the hill, you know. And then you also had some other requirement like economic viability, estudio de económico, the proposed municipality had to have to demonstrate sufficient revenue generation, tax capacity, budgetary sustainability to finance the municipal operations. So that would be something else too. The administrative capacity, the municipality had to demonstrate the ability to provide offices and public services and basic government functions, health and educational facilities, and things like so. And planning approval. If you look on Law 300, you see a lot of different requirements. Not true, but this is where our argument become more important through Article 310, because Article 310 talk now about special. When you read Article 300 and then the higher, it's talking about municipalities, régimen municipal. When we go to 310, as you was just pointing out this now, it talk about create special constitutional regime for the archipelago of San Andres, Providence, and Santa Catalina. So unlike ordinary departments, the Constitution specifically authorizes a Congress to establish special administrative rules. You just show it special territorial arrangement, I think, measures to protect the Raizal community, institutions adapted to the unique reality of the islands. And so we can argue, and it's our argument, that the Constitution, a purpose of Article 310 is not merely or solely administrative decentralization, but the protection of the ethnic, cultural, social, environmental, and territorial identity of the archipelago. And what that means for us, that this discussion that we are having and they're having in the assembly for a future model of municipal organization in San Luis, San Andres, could potentially be different, or not potentially, it have to be different from ordinary municipalities that we read that we have in Colombia. And the discussion is why that important? Why we think that that is important? I don't know if you remember, but but in my thesis, that I think was immediately after the Constitution 1991 come out. The first person that did present one proposal, was Julito Gallardo, and plenty people don't know or forget. And him was proposing a the municipality of Narten, and then Henrietta, he called it. So he was proposing, okay, Narten would have would be a municipality, and then he have the municipality in call it Henrietta, which would be Hill and I think he had Hill and San Luis would be Henrietta, and this was based largely on administrative and developmental considerations that he was thinking about. But I think that today, I think we need a stronger constitutional argument, because it should not simply receive. We should not be thinking of ordinary municipalities, but municipalities that are founded on Article 310 to protect the Raizal people. You
Good,
know.
good. Yeah, very important. He will be one of our guests, former Congressman Dr. Julio Gallardo, in next programs.
Uh,
Eh,
uh, uh,
be-
uh, just
yeah,
one more thing, because to me, people don't know neither here and we know, but we forget. Because during that time, let's say around 1972, the population was approximately like 14,000 people. So, the policymakers believe that maintaining separate governmental structures would create unnecessary duplication of offices and budgets and elective officials and public services. And this is the same thing many people opposing the municipality are arguing. So the municipality was therefore abolished through Law 1 of 1972. Providence and Ketlina, they retain its municipality status because obviously they were geographically separated. They had their own population up there in Providence and unique local needs. Um, so more than that we're talking about more than what, 4 decades now, 1972, 38, 28, almost 50, 60 years
yeah,
until we get to the Constitution of 1991.
very important. Precisely that um, you mentioned there, and a comment that Dr. Ralph Newell sent to us through the chat. There is a concern that, in spite of all this thing that we're finding in the Constitution of 91 from 35 years ago, right? 35 years
For
ago.
91,
Yeah, we are in
yeah, yes,
2026.
35, uh-huh.
35 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
we are still on a situation of as like a colony in this country because we haven't this system of governance and this democracy system that we commented is not suiting us. No, we are being excluded. I guess might be that article from the constitution intent was to correct that unjust situation somehow, but the lack of clarity and firm determination, to give us our rights as a people that end up there in Colombia. with a special and a unique history, different than the other region of Colombia. It failed, and we are feeling it right now. It's not reaching to meet our need. We have been those trying to fit ourselves in a shoes that designed not for us. We pass our life constantly trying different shoes, going from one to the next. For example, the blacks communities in Colombia push and get their last 70 is 1993, last 70 for 1993. And we are hanging on there on that all this time. And I believe all of us conclude that it's not for us. That shoes never built for us. It don't fit us. That they are total two different reality. And there we try and they put us in a combo and they still have us in that combo that they call in Spanish the comunidades negras afrocolombianas, raizales y palenqueras. Some call it NARP, NERP, comunidades negras afrocolombianas, raizales y palenqueras. And they're not suiting us. That shoes and the last same thing not shooting us. To the fact that today, after that laugh in 1993, 33 years past, we don't have the first Consejo Comunitario. Those blacks succeed. They have millions of entitled collective territory, which they rule over in quotation mark with a certain level of autonomy, having their own ethnic authority over that through the consejos comunitarios and the títulos colectivos. And we don't have neither one nor either out of that after 33 years. We don't have Consejo Comunitario because our ownership of the land is far, far different on the way the black community in the continental Colombia own land. They got usually white land assigned it to them at least 33 years. We have our own land and so forth. That would be another explanation. But concluding here that shoes don't fit us. It has served for many one or two individuals to benefit and have vices for the Raizal people. It don't suit in generally, collectively, the Raizal people. And the same thing I will say, that article from the Constitution of Colombia from 1991, the Article 310, we say is 30 what? 5 years gone. Still, we don't have no municipality create from that. We have a generation passing and passing. And if we don't have the clarity and the peculiarity of something specific for the Raizal people, we might end up, if we just create a normal municipality we're talking about, you want to be those like the last empty for the black community, will be those taking up a structure, political administrative structure of Colombia, the municipalities, to try fit ourselves in that shoes. And if everyone want to have the same equal right of representation and so forth, again, it suit us because we explained in the past program why. Because we are minorities, numerical minority in the territory, in the department archipelago, and we will continue be numerical minority in a severe way up to a 5%, and that includes Hills, St. Louis, Norton, etc., except Providence, if not great change. So that's the situation we want to put on the table also. If we compare, for example, make a comparison with the destiny that our other families, Raizal family had that stayed outside over the next side of the sea, over the country of Nicaragua, families that stayed there, Raizal, they call it Silk Creole, and they stayed outside in Nicaragua, in areas like the Bluefish, Carn Island, Port Lagoon, the whole Caribbean coast of Nicaragua. You know what they have, people? They don't have may have municipalities, they have department in Nicaragua, but they have something a plus. The law, the government, the national government of Nicaragua create a special political division over department that they call a region. So they are living in a region, not only a region, an autonomous region of the Nicaraguan Caribbean coast with a law of autonomy. That is something that we needed, and we explained it to the Colombian functionaries them that keep coming around here. um, late in the CM visit of those that was doing the decentralization mission that we was mentioning around the quite here. We explained them that it's something like that. But where in the constitution they have something like a region. It don't exist. They have a region, but not the one that we're talking about. They have a region that they call the RAP,
Mm-hmm.
Regiones Administrativa de Planificación or something like that. This is merely, you know, administrative affair, but not a ethnic governance. So that I
Exactly.
put on the table those two zero. That if we looking to move to our municipality, we have to keep on that trend. That they have
Yeah.
to be and find the arguments to justify where and interpret the law that is have to be a Raizal municipality, not a
Yeah.
municipality. That's why we call it
Yeah.
topic new Raizal municipalities. And the
Yeah.
article is insinuating that es mediante la creación de los municipios a que hubiere lugar la asamblea departamental garantizará la expresión institucional de las comunidades raizales de San Andrés. I can
Yes.
give my interpretation of it. Yes.
Yes. That is a very important point, Brother Jairo, because we as Raisal people should not be forced to put on a shoes, or as you are mentioning, or to choose between becoming like an indigenous resguardos, like the resguardos indígenas have a lot of good stuff, I mean, very, very good and everything, but we should not be forced to put on that shoes, or a community council under, as what you mentioned, under law 70, because those models, as I said, contain valuable lessons, but neither reflects the full reality of who we are. We are a distinct nation with our own language, our own history, our own culture, our own territory, and constitutional recognition. That's the important thing. Article 310 was written because we are different, because our island is different. And so the institutions that govern our future, as we are talking about these municipalities, must also be different from resguardos indígenas, from consejos comunitarios. And I think the challenge, Jairo, before us is not to copy the institutions of other people. We can learn from them, but we have to build institutions rooted in our own experience and tradition and aspirations of the Raizal nation itself. For example, one of our strong cultural asset, and spiritual asset, higher is our spirituality. Our spirituality is completely different. Our is completely different. And a Raizal ethnic municipality would not be an imitation. It can be an imitation of someone else's model. It would be the constitutional expression of who we are as a people, you know, and that's what we were trying to do, and trying to do it in, for example, creating our own stuff,
Good,
and we are killing it.
good. Yes, that's the point we have to develop. Um, we agree in our analysis by common sense, by logic, by interpretation of that article, that it should be Raizal municipalities. Yeah, those I want to share it on the screen again. Those that the article say, Article 310, coming down, mediante la creación de los municipios a que hubiera lugar, la Asamblea Departamental garantizará la expresión institucional de las comunidades raizales de San Andrés. How they will do that, how the Assembly will do that to guarantee that, that is talking about during the Constitution, the institutional expression of the raizal people, how they will do that in the creation of a municipality if it's not creating a raizal municipality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How they will do that? It cannot be a simple next simple command municipality. That's the
Exactly.
challenge, and we want to get to our people to hear from in the following program. Today, they are celebrating in San Andres and in Colombia the holiday, the 7th of August. That's why for we had in mind a guest for today to accompany us through that celebration with us. We have Dr. Ralph. Dr. Ralph is here with us, and he is agreeing with this that we are saying about the shoes that don't fit us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it don't give us not a solution to the Raizal issue. Dr. Ralph, good morning. Next Rise from the Raizal diaspora. Welcome. Happy to have you here with us this morning.
Welcome, Doc. Welcome, Doc.
Good morning, Pastor and Jairo and all the who are listening. Yeah, it's a privilege to be listening to you all from far away. And and yes, it's a very interesting topic. It's something which we need. It's something which we really have to work on. I know Jairo has been working for our autonomy, and Pastor has presented that project of municipalities so long ago, and we are working on that. So yes, my concern is the Raizal Authority, the Estatuto Raizal, all those we have been working on for so long, but also the Colombian government has not listened or given really importance to solving our situations, our needs. I'm afraid that we get into destructive, projects that might that are very good, but we don't know how they will be applied or when. As Pastor Irma Howard used to say, he used to dream with getting improvement in his lifetime and him gone that time. And it's something that is frustrating, and I don't see improvement even with the Colombian government that seemed friendly or sympathizing with our situation with Mr. Petro. I'm afraid who is coming in now might really reverse the importance that at least Petro spoke about, supporting the rights of people. Um, so yes, that's my concern there, and I'm just thinking, if we could really organize and unite ourselves and make our own estatuto, that can be our constitution. And within that estatuto, we make our own regional divisions, our own municipalities, if you want, call it self-governing local organizations. Um, and I mean, I'm maybe interrupting the line of thought you all were following just now, but a lot of money coming from the Ukraine, and that money should go if we had a Raizal authority. Um, it's ethnic money. It's coming. It's people visiting the ethnic territory. I would think that money could be reclaimed by the Raizal Authority to support the authority and its divisions. Let's have our own government. I don't know if I'm dreaming too far, but there are taxes, that Coralina charges, and Coralina is ethnic. It should be ethnic, right? It should be really under the Raizal Authority. Um, so why I'm saying all of this is what I mentioned before. Our experience with Colombia has not been effective. It has been destructive. It has been wearing out, uh, getting us tired, giving us candy, supporting maybe supporting Creole, supporting emancipation, but not really doing an effective help that helps us to progress. We don't want more candy. We need is to really be able to control immigration, be able to control how we want the development for the island, the future for the island. So, yeah, as I say, I don't want to interrupt the line of thought you were following, but I'm just concerned with this. And I say, well, it's an opportunity for me to mention it.
Yes.
You, I think you're on the line. That you're
Yep.
still on the line because precisely the purpose we are trying to analyze what is behind the creation of a new municipality in the archipelago. What is the purpose? What is the spirit? And Pastor
Yes.
mentioned things like following the constitution, public service, fiscal management. So the only solution is not municipality to reach that, and that's why we are making the analysis here. If it is it that we are stepping again in a waste of time trying to force in on a shoes that is
Mm-hmm.
not designed for us. If
Yeah.
we're going to end up doing that, we are into burning energy and wasting. I
Yeah.
always say this for years when they come to me around with this municipality, if for the archipelago new municipality, if it is going to be Raizal municipalities, where we have real power and autonomy and self-determination, welcome. But if it's a normal municipality, when we are minority in our land and when you're talking about democracy and election, majority rule, then the game is not for us. What we need is real, true self-determination through some time a mechanism. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where I read it from, but I think somebody so that San Andres, that's what that Torah was saying. We are not suffering from a lack of government. We are suffering from a lack of the right kind of government. Because for decades now, our island has been administered through institutions like Intendencia and Intendencia Especial and and the Gobernación and all these things that those are designed for mainland Colombia and for the corrupt politician, and yet our archipelago is facing problems that are fundamentally different from those of Bogota, Medellin, Cali, or Cartagena. Overpopulation and demographic pressures. Which one of them they suffer that? Loss of ancestral Raizal lands, the environmental degradation, the uncontrolled tourism growth, youth violence and crime in these last days, weak protection of our language and racial culture, the economic exclusion, despite billions, generated through tourism. Racial people can't participate, in decisions that is affecting our community. So a racial ethnic municipality should therefore not be just administrative subdivision. It should be a constitutional instrument designed to fulfill the purpose and the spirit of Article 310 that recognize that we require special institution adapted to our unique reality. And so maybe one of the questions, Brother Hyra, that we can discuss for next week, for example, we like what a municipality for us as racial people should look like. Like what should it look like? How would we design it? You know?
Yep. Yeah, that's the point. That's the point. We have to be very objective there. Is a very, how you say, topic where many politicians, starting from the same deputies, then will try to, because try to avoid, when you're building a municipality for numerical minorities such as the racial people right now, they're very scary, and so man, they miss the goal and don't get through, and they end up losing votes from the other side, and so that's why it's so, delicate. We have you what you say. We have to define what it should be, and to see
Mm-hmm.
if in the framework of Colombia current legal framework that is feasible. If the
Yeah.
constitution is for us, is fit us. That's why we always say it's so how you call it, hard to find our way through this country. I in the past use the expression, well, if this constitution don't fit us, let's create our own constitution and see if we can stand here or not. But if
Yeah.
not, we're going to pass and extend to ourselves like a people, like a collectivity, and nothing wants to solve.
Yeah. I don't know that like the first thing will come to my mind, just to throw it out there. If we want to create one ethnic municipality, we the first thing we need to design is a municipality that is built around territorial protection. I think that the first mission of a Raizal ethnic municipality should be to protect the land and sea that sustains the Raizal people. Like that would be like one of the central ideas, we would need one secretario de manejo de control poblacional. Like we would, you know what I mean, Haro? A
Hmm.
municipality that manages population growth. Because as we know, one of our greatest challenges facing us is the carrying capacity that we talk about all the time. So we would need different secretaries, not the normal secretary they got about the
Yeah,
planeación and the this. We might do them things, but with a different vision.
good.
Dr. Ralph, who's part? Dr. Ralph gone?
No, he's there.
Ah, yeah. Who's part of the doc?
Yeah.
So at least okay. Well, we are right now in Orlando, in Florida. We arrived this
Okay.
morning. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So next week, Brother Hyro, we can talk about those different what our municipality should look like, um, and what kind of structure,
Yes. Just notice that I think you mentioned it a while ago about the same creation that we make of the Raizal Authority.
Mm-hmm.
Is it didn't have to go and show none law and Colombia no constitution. No. It is based on the right of self-determination of people like us to decide our a structure of governance and rules and home rules, and we did, and we created, and we can come to manage over those taxes from the department, like the, as you said, Bastia, the tourist card, or the that is the biggest income that the department have, and that is paid to visit this ethnic territory.
Mm-hmm.
The experience down there in Chile with those indigenous people that they call the Rapinu. You heard about them. We talk about them sometime over our program. They have a situation of population control like us. It's the island that is most
Mm-hmm.
isolated in the world, under the
Mm-hmm.
under Chile. And some years ago, I remember, I see, I'm searching it on the web to share it here with you all. They made a move of protest, in their CM indigenous authority, to take hold and handle management of some type of tax there that they was questioning the management that they was giving to it, and they did that. They did that. And to share it right now, um, on the screen to show you what they let me see what they did, and you mentioned a while ago. I can't. Yeah, give me a chance while I find it here. Okay. Yeah, they did that same thing like us. I think it's this here. Let me show you. Are you seeing it on the screen? No, not showing. That's right. I'm not showing. Not showing. Okay, here we go. This is what they did some years ago with a protest.
Where you say is that?
In Chile, in the rock
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Isla Pascua, they say in Spanish,
Mm-hmm.
eastern island or the island of the Rapinyu indigenous people. That was in
Mm-hmm.
2019 when they make a move and a protest around the management that they was given to certain uh, touristic tax, eh, to visit the place. They consider the whole island like a park, a natural park, and they claim to initially to co-administrate. See here, an agreement of co-administration of that tax. I mentioned this in some many meetings back, and and that's what we are not stepping on. And that's why we have to build capacity of governance, capacity of accountability, of transparency, because there are much more that we have to go toward. We have all the way, without no new law, nothing at all. Just on the basic rules, international rules of what ethnic people, indigenous or tribal people can do with their home rule, with the exercise of the right to self-determination, and they step to have that management of that tax. Just to give an example, in that line that both of you make a comment, they question the bad management, and we have to build capacity. Unfortunately, while we're trying to build this self-government instance, other Raizal people, those in their sharp mining, those kick cutting against it and doing permitting it to revive. We get even the Colombian government to recognize us, and we want people pushing against it. They
But
recognize
I
us to
tell you, it's
create
just because we
universities.
blind, then blind,
Huh?
brother Jairo, blind.
Oh my gosh.
Dr. Ralph was mentioning, touch the point, like, because I have another question, like how we would be financed, and he mentioned, I think the okra revenue, but we also have tourism revenue, we also have tourism revenue. Um, the national government sh- sh- reparation transfers, they should have something that called national government reparation transfers,
Mm,
and I think, Jairo, you think we could receive environmental what like the blue economy um funding? I think, think, because like, if we protect resources that is of national, like, we are a biosphere reserve, isn't it? So
right.
funding could come from, the climate adaptation thing funding, marine I think conservation or coastal protection grants and things like that, and the SAI. What about the SAI uh,
Yep.
and reparation oriented assets?
Yep.
So I think we can develop, we can develop too. I mean, we have additionally, we can, there is a strong argument that is historical underinvestments and the disproportionate burdens um can, justify special development funds that are
Okay.
targeted toward racial communities. So I don't think funding should be an issue neither.
Good. Yes. That Carol is back with us. He did drop off a while ago. Yeah, that we were sharing the case on there in Chile with the indigenous people. I don't think you get to hear what he said. How they take step, you know, and in their the the structure of indigenous authority, they take hold of the management of 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 the tax. I want to share our next screen here where it said the see here. I don't know if you are seeing it. No, make you see here. Okay. Los Rapiñu asumen la gestión turística de la isla de Pascua. Same thing I was sharing a while ago. This don't call, I say again, for no new law, nothing like that. We just have to organize ourselves properly.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on our capacity. We have to lose away from that mental colonization and that personal interest of this one kicking against any intent to organize ourselves. If they are not there, and but we can do things like this. That the Rapinu people there did it. The indigenous people, they take charge of the administration of the national park. And that was managed initially by the Ministry of Agriculture of Chile, and they protest.
Is
And
that the Rapa Nui, Hyro?
yes, same, yes, right, same one.
And them
That
them
was
would have
in,
they closer to we. I would have think say them would have they more closer to full reality than even last 70
yeah,
or resguardos indígenas.
yeah. They have a model that we should follow. They have a very very good system to control population and the density, very systematized using modern tools to alert over the change of the density by simulation system. Yeah, that's why we were saying that now that the MNSD made that demand and exacting to make the carrying capacity study. You see that the OCRE trying to make contract with Universidad Nacional, and so that that don't have no background on this. You have experience, proven proven there in Chile with the Rapinyo and the Universidad Católica de Chile. Why don't stick with them? That's the next topic. I don't want to come out of the topic. Let's get back to the democratic governance. Yep. And the figure of municipality, another way for us to meet the purpose, which is to govern, have a, self-governance. Which other alternatives are out there apart from municipality? Is the municipality want to be in the way how we are seeing it or not? Or will it be a shoes that is not built for us?
Yeah.
Yeah, my suggestion is that we study into the possibility of the Raizal authority having local authorities that, I mean, we can call them municipalities or call them something else, but my fear, and I think all of us fear, is that if we're going to create municipalities and wait for Colombia to do it and be under Colombian corrupt political system, um, it's going to be a long time before we see anything, if we ever get to that.
Hmm.
It might be easier if we could unite, have a Raizal assembly, elect Raizal authority and Raizal authorities, and reclaim financing for those authorities from the money that come in from OCRE, as Pastor was saying, eco taxes. We would also be in control of what they call the maritorio or our sea territory. And that also gives fishing rights and income from that area. Would maybe be able to tap into the taxes that airlines should be paying when they fly over our territory. I understand Panama is receiving that money instead of us. I think there are several sources that could be worked on to finance our own authorities, as that example from Chile that I represented. So it would be interesting maybe in a different program if we could analyze, or I might not be able to participate, analyze really what would be more convenient, if to push forward with municipalities being organized under the Colombian government, or start with the local divisions and municipalities, local rights authorities. Would be a proposal and make if it. I don't know if it makes sense, but I'm just concerned with continuing under the expecting Colombia to do something, expecting the governor, expecting the deputies, the Congress people. Congress people only try to get things out that will give them more votes. They really don't benefit us, you know. Um, supporting Creole is not decreasing population. If our biggest problem is our population, I mean, giving somebody a recognition nationally or Creole defense or stuff like that, they're not decreasing our population. They are not addressing our main problems. I mean, we need, as a Raizal authority, we need to have an assembly where we can discuss our real problems and our potentialities and gradually come to something that that would be more productive than depending on Colombia. That's my
Yeah.
feeling.
I agree the 1000%, Dr. Ralph. I think if I would be thinking on a first step, what would be like the first step? And I would have said, Brother Jairo, is consolidating and strengthening INRA as the legitimate racial governing authority from which future, other institutions can emerge. Municipalities are structures, but authority comes from people. And so if the racial people first build a strong, representative, respected institution like INRA, then future municipal arrangements can be built around it. You know what I mean? But I think phase one should be INRA as the national racial authority for the racial people.
Good, good. I think we are in one spirit there. We intend to get our people to understand why we're saying these things, and those simple not be reactionists and following, things might be able to have a clear understanding of what it is, you know. So we will move toward that. We in the past program we start precisely to explain which was the origin of the racial authority, precisely because the questioning of nearly 200 years of colonialism, where we didn't wasn't exercising a government authority and so forth. We started it. It's very young, and people tend to condemn something before it even born, even develop good. I won't say born, like I born already, but develop good. You know, and we are here insisting that those have patience with yourself and with ourselves as we are in a new thing, new construction of what we convince we need. Don't criticize it like it exists 200 years ago. Understand it like something new and put your part to it more than those condemning and destroying. That's what that I'm talking about, the racial authority, we think. And from there we decide the route to follow, where we analyze, objectively, whatever route we're thinking on, whatever structure we're thinking on, we analyze it carefully if it will meet in our goal to be really self-determined in our life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Still, we will have the next program around the municipality because we want to hear, the voices and the opinions from many that have been up that for a while, you know, and yeah, let's make an open dialogue around it, very respectful, and see. Yeah, as you say, Pastor and Dr. Ralph, things change, no? Maybe in the moment, 1991, when many conceived that, if will be those are normal municipality will say, oh, well, fine. You think on the hill, you think on San Luis, and you think on the Raizal people as majority, and so forth. But things change, and things will continue to change in the matter of the numerical composition of the population of the island, and we have nothing to win there in that numerical composition and in a game where majority rules, so-called democracy. We don't have nothing to rule it. Our game is self-determination. Our game is self-determination.
Yep. Yep.
I would just
Definitely.
like to mention one last thing. I can't forget that not even a governor that is elected by the people can do anything San Andres. It all depends on the politician them and Colombia's corrupt system. So much less a alcalde, a mayor on a municipality will be able to do anything. I really am very skeptical about that, and I really think yeah, the way to go is our own authority. We need to call up all our leaders, and I would invite Sister Ophelia, Brother Endis, um, Juan, Professor Juan Ramirez, and all the other leaders that we have in our communities. Let us come together and really strengthen the Raizal authority, make an assembly, think our future, organize ourselves. I would just like to send that message. Yeah.
Good, good. I remember the word of Rodrigo Rivera as a Colombian politician that I really admire from time in his because we share something. He go for federalism, you know. We talk about federalism in some of our past programs, and he was in a event on time, Rodrigo Rivera, and there was a governor, the governor of San Andres there. I don't have to call, I don't, not matter the name, because in general it's the same all of them in that sense, in with the exception of Dr. Ralph and few. He said in that meeting, the governor was just asking for money and money and money and money and money for the island. And Rodrigo Rivera said to him, that is in a book, I'm searching, see if I can find it to share it on the screen right here. Dice, gobernador, no pida plata, pida autonomía. He said, because that's his belief. Y se pide autonomía para controlar aquellos barcos allá que le explotan sus recursos que vienen de otros países sin licencias, bla, 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 bla. Pida autonomía, no pida plata. ¿Verdad? I give a nice discourse there, and that's what you are talking about, Dr. Ralph said. That structure in Colombia, really the majors and the governors, Colombia is not sufficiently decentralized. It's not sufficiently decentralized. They don't grant the sufficient power to nobody. They have a scare. When you compare a regime that is federal with a next regime that is unitary state like Colombia, federal state like United States, Canada, Brazil, Mexico, Switzerland, these states, they are very advanced. I love that federalism. But what I see in Colombia is the fear for the country to, they think that granting autonomy to peoples will give way for the country to disintegrate because they're going to leave. That's what I see in all these years. They fear, so they keep, and those say they are giving autonomy, a local level of autonomy here to a municipio, to a, but the power is still, there, centralized, extremely centralized. If you remember when Santos got San Andres after the ruling of the Hague in 2012, after the case there between Colombia and Nicaragua, when the people are approaching down there, that was a closed meeting. But I think it's open. You can say, He said, when the people tell him, give us autonomy. He said, what do you want? He said, give us autonomy. That's when the Estatuto Raizal revived back, We did make a letter saying those things, and we present the letter. He said, what do you want? Give us autonomy. He was expecting that they might beg money, like how some they come up with the idea about give money to the fisherman, them like a payment. Give us autonomy. And they told me that he said if he would give autonomy to the Raizal people, he will be condemned by the history of the as to become the president that permit that these islands or the people, the Raizal people, lose away from Colombia. You see the mentality? And I admire him a lot because I believe most of the president them is more advanced. But if he even thinks so, because that had been a policy of state 200 years, they thinking that same thing about us secretly. They feared, right? That's where Dr. Ralph Islanda for him he used the word the paranoia that Colombia so far and living historically toward the Raizal people. They afraid to give us autonomy. They afraid to recognize our autonomy, our unique and something like what Rajapapa, I put him back on again, his signal is go and coming. And that's the point. If we can have a
Yeah.
municipality where we guarantee, and I am not against it, because sometimes you make step gradually to to be in a better stand for the moment because it's the only alternative you have. But we will analyze that carefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, just what you mentioned about Mr. Santos and Rodrigo Rivera. That just goes to show that autonomy will not be given to us by Colombia. We have to take it. We have to take it, and to take it, we have to be united. And regarding Rodrigo Rivera, I had a meeting with him once, and he right after I was removed from the government, and he told me that he was in the Senate, I think, when they gave the news, and he said they clapped. They were glad that the Colombian government removed me because they saw me as a corrupt anti-Colombian governor. So when I explained to him the why they removed me, why the thing with regalias and the corrupt congressmen asking for percentage. I don't say congressmen from the islands, from different departments, and why we took away fishing license, and the director of the INPA told us that we will know who he is, and of course he was the nephew of the Procurador Edgardo Maya. Edgardo Rivera, I mean Rodrigo Rivera, when I told him that, I think at that time he was the president of the Liberal Party or something like that. He said, well, it's the first time he gets that news. If he had known that, he would have supported before. So, I mean, those are the bases that Colombia used to ignore our rights and to ignore our people. And we will never get over that the way things are. Thank you. Yeah.
Good, good.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay. Okay, we coming to the end of our program for today. We are privileged to have you all with us, our listeners out there, and our co-host, Dr. Ralph Newbal Sotelo and Dr. Reverend Pastor Edgardo Martinez. Um, I want you all give your final word, both of you, as we dismiss this program. You have a final word, Dr. Edgardo and Dr. Ralph, before we close.
Well,
You
I
say,
would just like to again invite all the leaders, and maybe they could even come to a program like this and discuss and present their proposals and their vision. And I think that would be the only way we can really move forward, is by uniting our forces and polishing our differences and being under one aim and under one leadership. Yeah.
Mhm,
we
mhm.
good up.
Yeah, I agree. The same thing, as we, close today, let us remember that the future of the Raizal people will not be secured by simply copying others. Uh, we have a unique history and a unique territory, and we have unique challenges. So I think it's time for us to get together and really come back to the roots of why INRA was created, because we one municipality right there. And they don't know. they them blinded, and they run they try create other things, and this one they create this thing, and that one they create the other thing, and we have it right here, and we abandon it. we neglect it, we insult it, we stand up on it on our own institution that we are creating ourselves. So I think it's time for us to come back together and pray a lot. We have to pray a lot, that we really have to pray a lot and ask God for wisdom and discernment.
Fine. Great. Thank you all so much. We ending here. Hoping to see you again on next emission next Friday of the Vice of the Raizal Nations. God bless. Have a good weekend.
Raizal people, it's time for the uprising. Let us rise and shine.
When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when you feel like giving up, as you try to bother him,
when you feel like smiling, but your heart feels so tricky, yeah. Don't give up, rest if you will, but keep your unbroken will, yeah.
like the sun, the moon and the stars in the sky. Again and again, lift your head high. So please, don't you cry. Tell Jah, He will satisfy.
Once again, me say rise, I shall rise. We don't have time to cry, everything will be fine. We feel stand strong, it's time to move on. We have to reach to the stars, to the moon, to the sun.
This is something we want to know if you understand. Raizal people give thanks to the Almighty One. Cause all of the grown are singing song. Rise and shine, so shall sing in a this a song.
Rise and shall rise.
Where there is light, there will be hope.
Rise and shall rise.
Hope no Jah, that is for sure.
Rise and shall rise.
Standing up strong, I reach for your goal.
Rise and shall rise.
Let us all unite with one heart and soul.
One day our hearts will no more be poor. All the pain and suffering rise up, it will surely work.
The day we come together and stand up with determination, then Raizal nation will shout out for liberation. To take back the territory. Cause this land that we fight the free, our beginning. Free the chains and bandage of colony.
Far away from home, but still worry about their own. Maybe strangle and decolonize. Therefore, it had to run.
Waiting for it, diaspora, through the island in the sun. Rise and shine out the Raizal, all ye daughters and sons, yeah.
And again, it will be nice. Do not yourself minimize. Sense of belonging must be sky high. Stand up strong, Raizal, where the sun of the sky.
Leave behind nights of terror and fear. Just remember Jah come when the morning clear. Praise Jah and put your hand up in the air. In Jah hand now everything gone clear.
Wake up and live, Raizal, we soon clear the hill. If we stick together still, no way they could break our will. It's time to be great again. Arise and shine. Wake up and live. Booyaka, sayaka, mayaka. To free oneself from this corruption. So there will be no more pollution from colonizers, barbaration.